Hello, this is Brendan Line with EJ Prescott. Today's mini tutorial in Zone ScanNet will be the review of the maintenance feature. So in Zone ScanNet, we're familiar with the leak detection mode. So under view in the top left, that's normally the mode that we're in, looking at our loggers data each day, verifying logger noise and correlations. And sometimes what you will notice with your logger is different colors, of course, based on the leak score value, but sometimes you'll notice a gray color of a logger. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means and how to use maintenance to verify if it's just a one-day issue or if it's something that needs to be looked into and further investigated. So what a gray logger basically means is that particular logger for some reason did not report to Zone ScanNet this day. So the day we're viewing, this one particular day, this logger did not report. And that could be for a few different reasons. One, maybe the antenna fell, so that needs to be readjusted. Um, so if that the bracket falls down to the bottom of the valve box, that does need to be readjusted. It could possibly be maybe there's water above the top level of the antenna. Um, Another thing that you might want to look at if those two things are okay and everything seems to be installed as normal, it is a possibility that logger needs to be reprogrammed. That would be the last step. Um, but to look into this a little bit deeper, using the maintenance screen, we can verify if this is just a one-day occurrence or if it's something that's been happening pretty often and needs to be investigated. So if we see these gray loggers, don't panic. What you need to do is go ahead and go to your maintenance under view on the top left. And basically with maintenance is we can take a look at the performance of all of our loggers and many different features across the top. First of all, what we'll see is we see some red colors and we see some green. Um, Basically, red would indicate a 0% reachability. So if you look over here under reachability, that's one of the things that we want to look at to verify how often a logger is actually reaching and reporting to Zone ScanNet. So everything is based off the percentage in the reachability is based off a 5-day window. So in other words, if that logger has reached 5 out of 5 days, it would be 100% reachability. Um, and if it's 4 out of 5 days, it would be 80% reachability. And obviously 0 out of 5 days would be a zero reachability. So 80% um, is nothing to get alarmed about. That would just, it could have been some reason why that logger didn't report just one day. If it's a consistent thing where it's always 80%, maybe a plastic lid could help improve that case. Um, but if it's 0%, these are the ones that need immediate attention. Um, so to dig in further, so we know by looking at reachability, it hasn't reported in 5 days. So to look even further than that, you can go to last reached. And last reached, it'll actually tell you the date of the last time it reached. So in other words, looking at logger 036, we know it's a 0% reachability, but now we look at last reached and it hasn't responded since September 24 of 24. So it's been been a few months. This logger has not reported. So this is something that we want to take a look at with the things we talked about earlier. Antenna adjustment, water in the box, maybe a plastic lid, and then the last step would be reprogramming the sensor um, and starting over. So a couple other things you can see inside maintenance would be um, your humidity, which could indicate a possibility of water inside the logger. Your bandwidth is just what band your logger's communicating with, depending on your SIM card. Registered date is the date and time, the last time that logger was reprogrammed. And then there's some other items in here like your reachability, your measurement your RSRP, and then and your RSRP and your measurements. Those are just there's RSRP is this one here is basically the signal strength when you first program your logger for the first time. So you'll see these minus numbers. Minus 50 would be basically perfect. And then minus 100 is still pretty good. And then as you can tell, you start getting to the minus 120s and 130s, you'll start to see it changing yellow and red, which means the signal's not the greatest. It doesn't mean it's not reporting. It just verifies that signal is not as strong as some of the other ones. So this particular one's a minus 124, although it's reporting, you can see it's reporting 80% of the time. That could be due to the signal isn't as great. So again, water in the box, plastic lid, readjusting the antenna, that could maybe turn that 80% into 100%. Those are basically the top. You can also see the battery voltage, the battery level. But again, the most important thing with maintenance is going to be looking at your reachability. And you can sort by clicking on the column on the top. And as you can see, most of our loggers are 100%. So it looks like out of 109 loggers, or I'm sorry, 104 loggers in this particular area, there's only 3 of them that are 0% that need immediate attention. So this is something that you can print reports on. I would suggest maybe looking at your maintenance maybe once a week or once every other week, just to see where you're at and what needs immediate attention. That way, when if you stay on top of it this way, you shouldn't have too many to deal with each time. One more thing I want to point out too is if you notice over here on the left-hand side, you'll see some loggers are standing straight up in the vertical position, and there's some other ones that are on a 45-degree or tilted angle. What that means is basically that logger, for some reason, has moved from its original deployed position. Therefore, with pitch and roll, ZoneScan Net can notify you that this particular logger has either fallen off the valve, or maybe you had went out in the field and just pulled it out of the box and redeployed it, and it's going to notify you that it's been changed. So if you see this angled logger, you may want to go out and inspect that location, or maybe you'll know that, oh, you know what, I was out there, I remember, and that's why it's tilted. So, but in any case, to reset it, what you can do is go ahead and just right click and go to your reset logger orientation and reset for this logger. You can also reset all of them. If you know that you're out there repositioning them, cleaning out the valve boxes and repositioning them, you can just reset all of them in this particular area. I'm just going to go ahead and reset this one for this logger. So you'll notice it's going to stand up in a vertical position as soon as I left click this, which is basically me saying, hey, I verified it. It's in the box. This is its new standard position. So again, using maintenance, the first thing is reachability. Look for your 0 percentages and start your investigation in the field. Visual inspection first. Is the antenna still situated correctly? Is there water in the box? Things of that nature. If you would like to view other columns or view less columns, if you click on any of the columns on the top, there is a little drop down, and on the bottom you'll see columns will pop out a whole new selection of options. As you can see, all the ones that are checked are the ones we're viewing. So just you can simply uncheck them or show them, whatever you would like to do to manage the way your screen looks. And then you can also put comments in as well. For example, if there's something specific you would like to put on this particular logger, maybe it's sitting on a blow off, or maybe it's you know, on a meter pit or something that you would want to document that, you could always go to comments and put in, you know, blow off. And basically what you're doing with this is you're managing your locations as far as the situations of each logger in the field. This would be more for the folks that are leaving their loggers in position and not necessarily moving them. So you can really start to manage where all your loggers are and their situations. Maybe if a logger gets water in the box often and it's creating a reachability issue, you could document that. You could document loggers that are valve box lids that are plastic. So sky's the limit with that. Again, it's just to be able to manage things from Zone Scan Net, and you have a better, clear picture of how things are in the field. It just helps you better manage your leak detection efforts. But that is maintenance on Zone Scan Net.